What's up, guys? How's it going? Y'all all right? Man, this is a big crowd. Big group. Guess I should sit right here. I ain't even made a joke yet. Am I? How am I? Maybe I'm Sean Astin. Maybe I'm starring in the Goonies sequel. Y'all wouldn't go see it then. Thank you. Appreciate the heads up. Anyway, I'm not gonna waste your time. As Lightning mentioned, I am Michael Smith from ESPN2's Numbers Never Lie. But you're not here to see me, are you? Exactly. As a TV professional, I know how to move things along. Our special guest, he obviously needs no introduction. I first met him as Mikey in the Goonies. You probably know him, a lot of you know him as Sam from the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Not yet? Oh, he's on his way? Okay. What's your favorite Sean Astin role? Goonies? Oh, Rudy, of course. Well, only one of the greatest sports movies of all time, right? That's in my wheelhouse. He's got The Strain coming out on FX. What has this guy not done? My kids know him as Special Agent Oso. Anybody out here got kids? Little kids? There we go. Look at Robin. Is that a Robin outfit? Nice. See, I got an 8-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 2-year-old, so we watch Special Agent Oso on Disney Junior all the time. So that's how we know Sean even today. This is my first Wizard World Comic Con experience, guys, and I gotta say, it is dope. This is fantastic. This is fantastic. I came down from Boston this morning, and I feel like I'm at home. I feel like I'm at home with you guys. Thank you very much. I might spend a whole lot of money. I'm gonna have to explain something to my wife when I get back, because the merchandise is amazing. The t-shirts, it's unbelievable. So I'm looking forward to dropping some cash here. Who's the, I just met Whoopi Goldberg. Have y'all seen Whoopi Goldberg walking around? Guinan is here. How many guys are Trekkies out there? Okay. So y'all know she comes 15 minutes after this, so you might want to just save your seats, because I'll be hosting her panel after Sean Astin is done. Have you guys ever seen Sean do one of these before? Was it your first time? So this is great, because I'm talking right now. You won't hear a lot from me, because I'll ask him like a couple of questions, and Lightning already talked to you about the app to use to ask Sean questions. Apparently he loves answering you guys' questions, so do not be shy. And he does this cool lightning round thing, I'm told, at the end of the conversation. So he is very, very engaging. Obviously, you guys know he's got a great backstory, overcame a lot as a young person, growing up the son of an accomplished actress in Patty Duke. He's got a great podcast, internet podcast, political radio show, Vox Populi. I don't know if you guys have checked that out, but this is a very interesting individual, way more interesting than I am. Unless you do want to know about me. I'm open to take your questions if you like. I'm sorry? ESPN. Oh, thanks for asking. I am the co-host of Numbers Never Lie. It's a sports talk show, weekdays at noon on ESPN2. And we discuss the hot topics in sports for that day, or at that time. And we like to give you a little bit of statistical knowledge to take away from the conversation. We call it settling the debate, so to speak, but it's not all, we don't always disagree, but we like to bring some historical facts, some advanced analytics to the table, so a little different twist on your typical sports talk show. I do that every day from noon to 1 on ESPN2. Set your DVRs, or watch, or download the podcast. I also do a podcast called His and Hers with my colleague, my co-host, Jamel Hill. So I get to talk about sports for a living. So, tough to call that work, right? Any other questions for yours truly? This year? Good win last night, huh? I'm not gonna, you want me to put a number on it? Chances of them winning the World Series? 35% this year. That's pretty high, huh? I was trying to be nice. Phillies are on a roll. Phillies are playing some good ball now. Visiting Philly, you mean? Like a connecting flight? Or coming through to just paint the town? I remember Barkley said something about that a while back. Talked about the LeBron coming to Philly. I don't see it. I think he stays in Miami. I think he stays in Miami ultimately. What about Carmelo? Everybody's saying Chicago. I think New York, with the money and the market and Phil, I think he wants to stay there. I think he just wants to be a free agent because he wasn't a free agent before. He wants to see what's out there. Chicago's intriguing, but I think ultimately he ends up back in New York. Somebody said something about the Sixers. Well, now that Embiid is hurt, so that kind of, because it looked like Wiggins was going to end up falling to him. I think they still end up with Wiggins somehow. Yeah. Because Cleveland will probably go Jabari. So it's really that 2 spot that's intriguing, but they got 2 picks. They'll be good. They got Noel. You got a bonus first round pick, right? Got Noel that hasn't played yet. So they'll be good. They'll be back real soon. This town deserves a winner again. Great USA. 2-1 Portugal, you heard it here. 2-1 USA over Portugal, you heard it here first. And I'm just being honest, it's the Patriot in me. That's the Patriot in me. All they gotta do is just get some kind of result, right? Just get a draw. They'll move on to the knockout phase. And who knows what happens in the knockout phase? Wouldn't it be great if they end up winning this thing after what Jurgen Klinsmann said? Year of upsets, absolutely. Absolutely. Why not? Why not us? Why not you, period, S, period? That's a t-shirt. Put that on a t-shirt. Why not us? Why not United States? Lottery. No, as Lightning mentioned, I am like the biggest, you geek has such a negative connotation, man. Like I like fantasy, I like comic books, I love all that kind of stuff. So, I just made some phone calls. My people call their people, and I'm in the area, and I had the privilege of being able to do this. So I got a busy day ahead of me. Like I'm the big winner here. Sean Astin first, who again, like you guys, I've grown up watching and admiring his work. Whoopi Goldberg from 1 to 145. And then at 4, I think in this room too, I get to hang out with my man Anthony Mackie, who like me is from New Orleans, and Sebastian Stan from Winter Soldier. I take it y'all have seen Winter Soldier. I've seen it. I'm ashamed to say I've only seen it twice. I know, right? Like I don't deserve to be up here and only seen it twice. I got to do better. It's coming out on Blu-ray soon, obviously. Iron Man. And I'm glad to be amongst people who understand that Iron Man does qualify as a superhero. I work with somebody every day who thinks that you have to be sent from Krypton or exposed to gamma radiation or bitten by a spider. She doesn't think Batman's a superhero. That's what I gotta live with every day. That's what I gotta put up with. Every day, at work. Somebody who doesn't think Batman's a superhero. The dude could take out all the Justice League if he wanted to. You know what, that's a good idea. Hold on, that's a great idea. It's an excellent idea. Thank you. Okay, a selfie video, hold on. I'm at Wizard World Comic Con in Philadelphia, and I just told a ballroom full of people that you don't think Iron Man or Batman. This is what they think of you not thinking they're Philadelphia. What's the purpose of these things if you don't do stuff like that, right? My wife was like, yo, you better get a selfie with Whoopi or don't come back. I'm like, all right, will do. Oh man, what else y'all want to talk about? Y'all want to talk about Sean before he gets here? Talk about it while he's not in the room? Or wait till he gets here? Oh man, I don't have a routine plan. Who's the coolest person y'all met so far besides me? Who's the coolest person y'all met so far today? Here. Without further ado, sorry to cut you off mid-answer. Our guest of honor is here. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, no introduction necessary, Sean Astin. I sat in your seat earlier and I was like, hey, maybe I'm Sean Astin. Maybe he's changed.
Will the real Sean Astin please step forward?
Yes, well the real
a lot of people dressed like me today.
Well, the real Sean Astin is obviously a very accomplished actor, filmmaker. We're talking about Vox Populi, your internet podcast.
Yeah. Hold on, don't go anywhere.
Okay, cool. Take your time. Your show.
Okay, sorry, back.
No, take your show.
But yeah, the podcast, Vox Populi. We were just talking about, do we want to get into political stuff here? Probably not.
Maybe. We'll see.
Well, now, I'm so excited because we have our producer. You know, I did the Kickstarter campaign.
Yeah.
We were trying to raise $30,000. We ended up raising $66,000.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So, I wanted to believe that it was because people really liked the premise of the show, which was to create a space of civil discourse. But we did sell an awful lot of autographed Goonies pictures.
Well, speaking of the Goonies, hopefully by the end of this panel, you can make me an honorary Goonie. You have the power.
I can make everyone an honorary Goonie.
You're honorary Goonies, guys.
Right, stand up if you want to be an honorary Goonie. And the people over there are like, I don't want to join. What are we joining? What does it cost? Do I have like a monthly fee? Are they going to send me a lot of emails? Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I. State your name.
Michael Smith. Oh,
do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
To abide.
To abide.
The Goondock faith.
The Goondock faith.
Congratulations, you're a Goonie. There you go. Thank you. Now that's an abbreviated version of it. Thanks. So we hired, the goal of the Kickstarter was to have enough money.
What the hell is that?
Kale and spinach and ginger and lemon and I don't know what else is in it? Is there cilantro in it? This is an appetizer. Philly cheesesteak come next, okay? You can't just eat, man does not live on Philly cheesesteak alone, I can tell you that right now. My manager's like, you gotta get down to fighting weight, we wanna do this, we wanna do that. And I'm like, great. I go, I'm going to Philadelphia. He goes, that's fine, you gotta get a Philly cheesesteak. I'm like, dude, you're sending me some serious conflicting signals here. Yeah, I do, the Rocky Steps, I love the museum, love it. I actually did a movie here. I've taken over. It's okay.
Sure.
So the movie was called Kimberly with Gabrielle Anwar, and it was an adaptation of a French farce where four guys fall in love with the same woman, and they all agree not to sleep with her, but then each one sleeps with her, or at least thinks they do. One guy's drunk, but he doesn't, but he thinks he did, like that. And then she gets pregnant, and they all think they're the father. So we filmed on Boathouse Row. I actually learned how to do a straight four sculling thing. Pretty cool. Anyhow, it was actually one of the best film experiences of my life, shooting Kimberly. Is Seabass still here? Is there a restaurant still in town called Seabass? Okay. This is like foodie culture here, and right? I didn't know anything about it, but I was like, anyhow. This is when I met Bruce Willis. We went to this restaurant, and all of a sudden, champagne showed up. I'm like, it's from Mr. Willis. He was on the second story where they were doing like a cigar bar thing, and we're like, whoa.
He sent you champagne?
He sent us about, he knew that there was a group of actors working on a low-budget movie, and he felt for us, you know what I mean? So then he comes down, I can't say this next part, because we're in mixed company. Anyhow, he just said, he comes down and he's talking to us, and he's like, how's it going? And we're all like, oh, it's okay, it's okay. He goes, I know, I've been there. You know, the director's like, well, can you do one with a banana sticking out of your backside? And he's like, yeah, sure, we can do that. Whatever you want. So anyhow, that was fun. I was here to film. But back to Vox Populi. So we hired this producer, Cameron Anamu, who just got out of college, and he's fantastic. He's been producing the show now. We've done 8 of them. I can't believe we've done 8 already. And the guests we're booking are fantastic. And every week we're sort of doing hard news, which we hadn't really planned on doing. Had Dennis Miller on the show on Thursday. That was fun. It was fun. It's you know, I mean, if you're gonna have Dennis, I've been on his show a couple times. He's always been great to me, and he's so extreme now in his viewpoints. You know, that and the whole point of the show is to speak civilly, and it's like he wasn't doing that. Yeah, but I didn't say anything because it's Dennis Miller, and he's funny. You know, even if you hate some of the things he's saying, he's funny and you like it. But we've been getting congressmen on the show, congresspeople on the show, men and women, just different experts. Last week we did, I'll try to understand this Iraq situation that's happening right now, this kind of explosion of violence and stuff. And I was thinking next week we would do, I haven't told Cameron this, so if you start tweeting at Sean Astin, make sure you say, Cameron, Sean hasn't said that's what we're actually doing. Is that 140 characters?
Yes.
Anyhow, so, well, just this refugee crisis. See, this is the thing. There's so little space in our life where we're allowed to talk about these issues where it isn't couched in, you know, right now you say there's a refugee crisis. Well, 80% of the people in the country instantly decide whether they're for or against Obama. It's like, there's hundreds of thousands of people screaming across the border. It really transcends that. It's like, what can we do to, like, you know, it's a humanitarian crisis. Anyway, so I just love that we've created a space where when people come in, they share their ideas and their thoughts, and they're not challenged really, and they all ask questions, but they're not attacked. And then somebody else from another side will, and like that. So I love it.
I want to go to that word challenge, and I'll give a hand to Sean Astin for everything that he's doing.
You guys want to hear about the Goonies 2 sequel?
Absolutely. Is it real this time?
Well, raise your hand, or let me hear you if you want a Goonies sequel. It's American priorities, right there.
But Richard Donner has said that the director has said that a sequel is in the works. It seems like it's the real deal. You've talked about it. What would you like to see out of the sequel? A continuation, a catch up on the old cast, a reimagination?
I'd like for the bulk of the movie to be about the original Goonies in their grown-up life, recapturing a sense of adventure, and that is like their childhood, but with stakes that make sense for grown-up Goonies. And then at the end, it should be a passing of the torch to the Goonies, the next generation of Goonies. And then you can have hundreds of generations of Goonies. But I feel like if you just leapfrog to the young kids, it'll leave a lot of the people who are standing in line asking me to sign autographs for Goonies feeling a little like, oh. So, and I think they've really been struggling with how to find that balance. I don't know that. I know they've gotten several screenplays. I know that Dick has been saying for many years that it was happening imminently, but I don't think they have a shooting script yet. So, you know, regardless, it'll be whatever they come up with, it'll be good because Steven will say yes until it's good.
Yeah. You also have The Strain coming out, coming soon to FX. You want to tell us about that?
Just you wait and see. Have you seen the billboards for it yet?
I have not.
It's like an eyeball with a worm coming out of it.
Okay, I have seen that.
Yeah. Yeah, have you?
But
you didn't know what it was for.
Yeah, okay, no,
yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a vampire. It's Guillermo del Toro decided that he was going to take the magical trip into the television screen and adapt it, or is in the process of adapting his best-selling vampire trilogy, The Strain, that he wrote really with Chuck Strawn when they were down in New Zealand together. When he was down in New Zealand sort of prepping The Hobbit, and then they didn't quite get The Hobbit made, but he did come away with this great trilogy. And it's vampires like you've never seen vampires before. They don't have fangs. They have this like long tongue that shoots out. It's creepy, but it's also what's really cool now, because vampires. How many more vampires do we have? We've had so many different vampire shows, great ones and sexy ones, and ones with teenagers and ones with sexy teenagers, and so now this takes it as though it's kind of a clinical thing. I'm part of the Canary team, a small team within the Centers for Disease Control, which gets sent in to this airplane onto the airport at JFK because there's a plane that's dead. And there's all these people in there, and 300 people are dead in the airplane. So we're trying to decide, is it a terrorist attack? Is it some sort of biological thing? Is it a disease? And then exciting and crazy things happen. And but what it does is, like, we do an autopsy on a vampire. You've never seen that, have you? So it's pretty cool. It's really violent and it's kind of scary. So I'm not sure if a lot of the people in this room are going to watch it or not. But
no, we're going to watch it, right? So
I don't know if little Sally's going to. How old are you? 12? No. Anyway, go ahead.
So Sean, here's what I heard about you before you came aboard, and before I came aboard, I should say, before you arrived. And I was saying to the folks out here that I understand that your favorite thing to do is to take questions for the audience. Like, you take them all. Like, you love engaging with the audience.
Take them all, baby.
So
I do, and when it's over, I like it if they cap the line, and then everybody does a speed round where they ask their question, and I hear them all, and then I, to the best of my ability, give quick answers to all of them. Because I think there's nothing worse than if somebody gets up the courage, to go stand up and ask a question in front of a bunch of people, to then not be given that chance. So yeah. So
you want to get to it? I can sit up and ask you questions all day. Let's get the people involved. There are microphones available. I can't see you holding them.
Boom!
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Boom.
Cool. Awesome.
Real quick, I know when you were in New Zealand, we read about Orlando running around and doing all his crazy stuff. What was the one most memorable thing you did while you were filming The Hobbit in New Zealand? And then after that, you went right into 50 First Dates. Great role. How did you bulk up? What did you do for that?
I love that question, because my weight goes up and down so much that when I'm given an opportunity to talk about it, I leap. There were so many incredible memorable things, helicopters and bungee jumping, and mostly being with my wife and daughter, and then daughter, Allie, who was in the third film. She played Eleanor, the last shot of the last scene of the last film. A little Hobbit girl who comes right now. She's 17, getting ready to go to college. So you're like, oh. Yeah.
I got 2 kids. Oh, I got 2 daughters, 3 kids. So I'm loving you on that.
Are you the third kid, or is your wife the third kid?
Yeah, I'm all over the place.
Because that's a ballsy thing to go out there and say, yeah, my wife has 4 kids. But anyhow, so.
Wait, no, that's not what I said.
What'd you say?
No, I said I have 3 kids, 2 daughters.
Oh, I thought you said you had 3. I thought you said 2 daughters and 3 kids, and I didn't think son. I thought you were including yourself in the kid thing. Yeah, I don't listen. I like to talk. What was the question? Just kidding. So there's so many incredible memories, but since you brought up Orlando, he and I went motorcycle riding, like off-road riding one day, and we had a guide and stuff. It was in Queenstown, and the mountains are so great. And we're going there, and the instructor says, "Do you guys know who Orlando Bloom is?" I'm like, kidding. It's a long blonde hair. Anyhow, so the guy goes, "Don't go up there." We stop for a second. Don't go up there. It's too steep. Okay, so he and I go down. We follow this like creek path or whatever, and we're up on a bluff, and then we're like, "Where's Oh no. Orly, who like broke his back when he was a kid, and you know, so he's at the top of the hill that he was told not to go to the top of, and he's sort of, he looks like a billy goat or like a dog when, or a cat when you try and get him to, you pull him by the, you know, collar and they, like this, and he's yelling, "Hey, what do we do, man? What do we do?" He's like, "You went up there, you figure it out," and then he came straight down this hill. And it was incredible. He was a very athletic guy, and he sort of did it. But that was really, really a fun time. And then in terms of the weight, so I ran the LA Marathon in '98, I think. And I was like fighting good shape, you know. Probably 160 pounds when I did it. And then I got Lord of the Rings. Well, actually they said, well, Peter says it's between you and a heavyset actor in England. And he's not sure that you're gonna, you know, he needs Sam as a, you know, stupid fat hobbit. And according to some. So he, so I sent him this videotape of me doing, you know, a bunch of other parts where I was really heavy, and so he was like, okay, you can do it. So I started, well, weightlifting and eating, and I was really seriously weightlifting for like 2 months and eating. And then I stopped weightlifting, but I kept eating. And I got up to about 200 pounds. I want to say 199.9, but it was probably, I didn't want to look at a certain point. Until at a certain point, there was, we were in October 28th, 2000. Elijah and I were playing with firecrackers or football or something like that. And in Te Anau, in the southern part of the South Island, and we're outside and all of a sudden there's an earthquake. It's one of these rolling, there's a lot of earthquakes in New Zealand, these undulating earthquakes. And I could literally see Elijah go up and down, and up and down. I was like, wow. So I raced to where my wife was and with Allie, and they were like, oh no, we're okay, things are shaking, but it's okay. And I just looked and I just went, I've done my job for Peter Jackson, it's time to come back. I put on my shoes, it was like 1 in the morning, and I went for an 8-mile run. And I ran every day, an hour every day, until we finished December 20th, and then by like January 15th, I was back down to 160. So, yeah. So, thank you. So then I get this part playing Jeremiah in, playing Mr. Smith in Jeremiah with Luke Perry, Malcolm Jamal Warner on the Sci-Fi channel? FX? Sci-Fi. Showtime! I knew that. Thanks, Mom. So, was that Linda who said that? Thank you, Linda. Everybody, Linda's the biggest fan I've ever had in my entire life, and she's become a friend now, and it's her birthday. So if you lead me in a quick rendition of Happy Birthday, Linda's her name. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Linda. Happy birthday to you. Thank you, Linda, for everything that you do. So then I do this audition, this great audition, like that I film myself and for 50 First Dates, Protein Faked. Actually, a fan just reminded me of one of the best lines in the movie. He's like, sounds kind of fruity. Thanks, Doc. Anyhow, so I get this call from Adam Sandler, who's at Show West in Vegas, and I'm actually directing an episode of Jeremiah, my episode that I got to direct, and I'm acting in it. So I'm like, I was a big shot that week. And Adam says, pretty funny stuff. He goes, will you get in the gym every day for 2 hours until we start shooting? I said, you put me in an Adam Sandler movie, I'll do whatever the flip you want. And so then I went back to the gym, got really big, and then got really fat, and then got really skinny. So I got fat again this last October. I ran the Chicago Marathon October 10th last year, and kind of did a little tear on the hamstring. Finished great, really happy. It was a fantastic run, but I kind of didn't want to tweak it again. So after I ran 3 full marathons last year: Chicago, LA, and San Francisco. I love running. I have this thing, I mean, my little bracelet. Are there video things up there? Is that happening?
Yeah, I think so.
Can you see that? Can they get in close enough? I feel like you guys know more than I do because you can see the screen. Anyhow, Run Third is my inspirational running campaign. Basically, I run first for myself, I run second for my wife and kids, and I run third for you. And so it's a hashtag RUN3RD, and people make dedications. Run third for my dad who has Alzheimer's, my son who's autistic, my cousin who's deployed overseas, whatever. And then basically anybody who wears hashtag Run Third, you know, on the hat or the band or writing a Sharpie, then you're running on behalf of all of those people and all of the dedications they've made. It's a pretty cool thing. So, go ahead, questions. Questions. By the way, but now I'm getting in shape again because I'm training for the Marine Corps, full Marine Corps marathon in October 26th in DC. And I vowed to do a personal best, 4 under sub-4 marathon. So run third for me.
Okay, you want to go? Sure.
So Sam is one of the best Tolkien. You know, he's just awesome. But if you could be anybody else in all of Tolkien, who would you want to be and why?
Because he's badass. I remember when they said, you know, I had already auditioned for Sam, and there was a long waiting period, and you know, then there was a callback, and this kind of an in-person meeting with Peter Jackson, but I started saying to my agent, like, why are we automatically assuming that I'm Samwise? Maybe I can be one of the other characters. Like who? And I read the first like 160 pages, and I was like, well, Strider. She was kind enough not to laugh me off the phone. But yeah, no, that's who I'd want to be.
Hi, I'm a really big fan of your early work, like Toy Soldiers and Whitewater Summer and all that. What was the most fun you had filming? Which movie? Which cast?
Well, here's the thing. Which cast?
Or, you know, yeah.
Trying to get like 150 actors to hate me because I didn't pick them. Oh, I thought I was your best. Like, honey, you told me you loved me. I meant it at the time. Bests, or forget about bests. Bests are too hard. So we'll talk about, you know, Toy Soldiers, Will Wheaton, and Keith Coogan, and T.E. Russell.
Can I tell you, like, when I was in school, we used to just walk around saying to one another, "Pots and pans." What's pots and pans?
It's so funny, like, the most memorable things in all the movies I've been in are things I didn't like. I hate the truffle shuffle. I hate it. I hate it. It's mean. It's mean. It's mean to a fat kid. I don't like it. And people have tried to explain that, no, it's empowering because they're reappropriating. I'm like, screw that. It's just flat mean, right? But then in line at the conventions, people come up and it's big, huge guys with their truffle shuffle shirt on. They're like, oh, that's my favorite moment ever. I don't know. But pots and pans. Oh, Andy Divoff, the head baddie in that movie, is the tower, what do you call it, the control tower chief in the Strain.
Oh, okay. Full circle.
Full circle.
Nice.
We were looking at each other. It was so great to see each other again. So those guys were all great. George Perez as well. Not George Perez. George's last name. Perez, right? Perez, yeah, Perez. Thank you. So they were great. We were young. It was exciting. T.E. and I stole a chair. We wanted the backs of our chairs that say your name on it and Toy Soldiers on the other side. So we weren't smart enough to take the back off the chair and roll it up and stick it in a, you know, pocket. So instead, we stole the actual chairs. And we go to the mailbox, etc., or whatever it was in Virginia, in West Virginia, circa 1989 or whatever. And we're standing in line to ship them. And purely by coincidence, we hear, "Hey guys, how's it going?" And it was the prop master who's in charge of the chairs. We're like, "How's it going?" And he made it like he didn't even look at the chairs. He just went his thing, we did our thing, and it was like honor among thieves. I like that. I like that. Toys, Encino Man, love doing Encino Man. Whitewater Summer, love that. I got to make that movie over the course of 5 years because I never knew what to do, so we kept going back and shooting it over and over again. And then, there's another one. Where the Day Takes You. Got to work with a great cast in Where the Day Takes You. Jimmer Mulrooney, Laura Flynn Boyle, Walter Zalgetti, James LeGros, unknown film actor, Will Smith. And just Kyle MacLachlan, David Arquette. I mean, just that, and the Goonies is the first ensemble that I did. So I've just been so blessed.
This goes to show what an amazing career you've had. Next question.
Hi. First off, fan of Vox Populi, so I have watched that on T-Radio. I love it. Now, there's been a shift in the cast for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Jason Biggs has left, and now Seth Green has come in. You guys have been working with Jason for a while. How do you think the vibe is to start vibing off of the four of you guys going to work? Because I know you have Rob and Greg. So does it feel like a different team dynamic now?
Well, I always wonder about when pro baseball teams, a player gets, or any pro sports team when a player gets traded. And it's such a, if it's a good team, and you really like the team, you're fans of the team, and then somebody from the team leaves, it's a bummer. But we're professionals. So we love Biggs. And we love Seth. I've known Seth a long time. I'm excited that he's doing it. But it is a little different, and as much as they're different guys, they have a different sound. The writers are adjusting a little bit. That's all I'm going to say about that, because you're a little ahead of the curve. You're a little ahead of the curve. Comic-Con's going to be kind of a fun moment for the show. The fact, the show just got picked up for a 4th season. So the fact that the animators, that the writers are continuing to crank out scripts that are fun and interesting, and people are tweeting about them all the time, and that we get to keep going is just, it's a blessing, and we're all really grateful for it.
Can I make a suggestion?
No.
Only because I just looked at the clock. I'm not sure what the rest of your schedule is, so it's 12:35. Do you want to do a lightning round thing for each side?
I think cap the lines now. No new questions behind whoever the last person in line is. So are there?
Yep.
Okay.
So you want to do each side?
Yeah.
Or you want to challenge yourself and do all of them?
I'm gonna challenge myself to answer them quickly, and before we do the lightning round.
Okay.
So it's like the almost lightning round.
Okay, cool. So we're on this side now.
So Tolkien has said that Sam is essentially like the main character of Lord of the Rings, and I was wondering what your thoughts were on the character. And I have another question also about Vox Populi, because I don't know much about it, and I was wondering if you could talk about that more.
Yeah. So Sam is one of the greatest literary characters ever conceived and put down on paper. And he takes his place proudly in a long tradition of protagonists. But interesting, when you sort of step back and you think, what is Sam's function in the story? He remembers, he carries on the story. He becomes mayor and he writes the rest of the book, the Red Book or whatever, and he's there. He was a witness. Even though he was a participant, he bore witness. He's one of the, creatures in Middle Earth who can continue to tell the story and therefore pass it on more than a lot of the others. And people are going to Grey Havens and dying and doing lots of different things. But really what Sam is he's a surrogate for the audience. Because he represents all of those things that are the most important qualities in a species. That there's a lot of human beings. There's a lot of violence around the world, there's a lot of suffering around the world, but there are better angels of our nature. And Sam represents home, and he represents friendship, and he represents loyalty and bravery and decency and goodness and righteousness and all these kind of things. He represents that. So I think whenever we as an audience, as readers or the film audience, are diving into a narrative, I think we automatically, without being conscious of it, assume the role of the most benevolent. So if a main character starts to go badly, we identify with the bad, that arc, because it feels like something that's being transcended in us as we experience it. And so I think, and yet when something extraordinary happens, we feel like that's tapping into part of who we are. And so Sam is a window, he's a gateway into that story from the perspective of people who believe that we're decent, we want to believe we're decent, good human beings, we want to believe that we would do the right thing in a crisis, we want to believe that we're part of the solution, not part of the problem. And Sam basically takes the audience's hand and facilitates that. So, yeah. And then Vox Populi is just my radio show, voxpopuliradio.com, and Thursdays 12 to 2, and I sit there, my brother Mackenzie, who's fantastic, sits opposite me most weeks, and we break it down. I did last year, it's the second season. The first season, I did 1 2-hour segment or show on the Congressional Budget Office, and it was, how do you do 2 hours on the Congressional Budget Office? Well, we did it, and I promise you, nobody who heard that episode will ever watch a political commercial or ever hear a State of the Union speech without knowing what is being referenced when somebody says, the CBO scored this, the Congressional Budget Office, came back with these results. So we try and be civically informative. Most people don't like politics, don't want to talk about politics, don't like government, don't want to talk about government. But if we don't, if good-minded people don't care about politics and don't get involved, then what's going to happen is the most extreme, passionate people are going to go in and grab the microphone and make decisions. And a lot of times, the most extreme decisions are not necessarily the best decisions that are in the interest of the most amount of people in the country. So, yeah. Yeah, so anyhow, tune in, call in. You should call in, tweet in, Skype in. No, yeah, you could Skype. Go ahead. Neither of those were small answers, short answer.
During the Lord of the Rings trilogy, what was your favorite moment while filming?
When my little daughter climbed up into my arms and wouldn't listen to me. She listened to Peter Jackson, the director. She wouldn't listen to me. I'd say, "No, Allie, stop it. Stop doing that." And she started playing with my brooch and giggling. I'm like, oh, brother. That was a good one.
This is sort of silly, but I was wondering if you could do your best Gollum impression for the audience.
You know who I am, right?
Yeah.
He's a villain. He's a wretch. I'm gonna impersonate him. Smeagol. My precious. The stupid fat hobbitses.
You mentioned the strain before. I want to know what got you into that project?
Guillermo and Carlton Cuss, producer of Lost, executive producer of this, called me in. And, you know, when you're a journeyman working class actor and your agent calls and said, "You've been called in," you get called in. I go in, they described it, they said, "We'd love for you to be a part of it." I said, "Okay, when do I show up?" and then I went, and the books are so good. The audio book is incredible. It's Hellboy. Ron Perlman reads the audiobook. So I was doing this thing where I was cross training because my leg was like running hurt. But so I put the kids to bed at 9:30 or whatever, and then I would go out riding my bike. Great bike, Madone, screaming through the Northwest Valley of Los Angeles, San Fernando Valley, in the middle of the night, listening to Ron Perlman read this really creepy vampire book. It was all, and so I knew that I had my instinct had borne me out on saying yes to that.
So we got a 5-minute signal.
Okay.
Lightning round. Time?
Lightning round. Yeah.
All right. So you're going to combine all of these?
Yeah. Just everybody ask a question and we have that. Yeah. Go.
Okay. Ready and go.
So, thank you very much.
You don't have to talk that fast, don't you?
Okay.
The lightning round has to do with my answers, not your questions.
My question revolves around the Kickstarter campaign that you guys had. I just started one myself with my family for our barbecue sauce, and I wanted to know if you had any advice on how to successfully fund a project.
Advice?
The amount of demand and everything that was asked of you guys when you took on the Lord of the Rings was so much, and there was so much time that it was going to take to do it all. I'm just curious as to what it was like to wrap your head around that, having to take on a task like that.
Good question.
When you were filming Two Towers and Return of the King, and you had to be acting with a CG Gollum, and connect with that character somewhat, like what was that experience, or could differ from actual actors on the screen?
Good.
I'm with the Frankly social team, so I have a question for somebody who's on the board. But anyway, I just wanted to say how awesome it is to actually talk to a Goonie when there's somebody dressed as Chunk here, or Sloth over here too. I thought that was kind of amazing. He's over there. Anyway, he's over there. Anyway, someone on the board asked, his name is Zach, what was the best part of narrating Meerkat Manor? Thanks.
Just wondered what appeals to you the most about playing the role of the underdog in some of the movies?
When and why did you get into acting?
Good question, young man.
I think we're cool over here on this side.
When you were filming The Lord of the Rings, who were some of your best friends, like some of your friends that you made from the crew, cast?
Okay, guys.
All right, I think that's it. So,
okay. Okay. Great questions. Thank you, everybody. Lord of the Rings, the time demand thing. There was, I said yes in a blink of an eye, and I thought I knew what that meant, and I would say things to Elijah when I first met him, like, oh, it's going to be, are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? And it wasn't until about 4 months in when I went, oh no. Oh no. Because your body clock is wired to do like 6 weeks to 3 months on a shoot, and now we're a month later, and we weren't even, we're like, we had like another year to go. So that was, and I literally did lose my mind a little bit, and it was really, really hard. So it was a very painful experience, because so far from home, my country was, the Bush v. Gore thing was happening, and I did vote, got my FedEx, my ballot to my dad, who hand delivered it to my polling place, but there's, and you just being fat for that long and not being able to run for 15, 16, 17, 18 months, it was really painful. So I really, really couldn't conceptualize it. Okay, CG Gollum, it was great, it was groundbreaking. It was it was a really, the bar was being raised with that technology, and Andy Serkis made it seamless because he was so powerful and in his performance and who he was as a person. So it was like and filming in a green screen, really once you make the little leap with your imagination that it's possible, it's really the same. It's the same if you do a puppet show in the 3rd grade, or you do a high school production, or you star in a Steven Spielberg movie. You're in, the sets are bigger and that kind of stuff, but when it gets down to being authentic and doing the right thing, it's actually all kind of the same. Sloth, Ruth, baby, Ruth. Hey, you guys. Meerkat Manor. I love Meerkat Manor. I love doing it. I like Carlos the roving jackal. They're so mean. It's a vicious society, those little meerkats. But they're family. So I loved just getting to sit there and learn about the lazuli and the just going to Africa. Maybe I want to go to Africa even more, so love that. Why acting? My parents, my mom and dad are actors, and so I kind of followed in their footsteps, Patty Duke and Sean Astin. And I got started when I was a very young boy. My mom got me a part on a TV show, and they let me, they told their agents that it was okay if they submit me for things, and so I went in for a few auditions, and for the first few years, it all just came very effortlessly. The one rule that my dad had was that I always be subject to the same academic curriculum as the students that I was normally in school with. So that was a saving thing for me. Best friend, Elijah, was great. Everybody was great. The four hobbits, we hung out. Orlando, I told you. Andrew Jack, who was one of the dialect coaches. Really, it was the whole kind of acting team was really it. But if you watch the Two Towers DVD, you can see a short film that I directed, and you can see that it's just made with love from everybody. And then finally, there's two more. Kickstarter. Kickstarter, I wonder if it's getting played out now. Everybody and their sister has a Kickstarter. It's like a podcast. Will you be on my podcast? Sure. Will you be on my podcast? Sure. I'll be on your podcast. I'll be on your podcast. Okay, everybody's got a podcast. I've got a Kickstarter campaign. I've got a Kickstarter campaign. But the one thing that I'll tell you is that there's a whole catalog of important things to know. Picking the right rewards, making a really good video, not too long, very clear, not boring at all. It will succeed or fail on the strength of your hard work, your sweat equity. I think on some level we like to throw out there that it's the internet. I've got 140,000 Facebook followers. I've got 112,000 Twitter followers. In order to deploy those people, it takes a lot of work, and not just that. I called all of my friends, all of my family. I emailed people. I make a lot of money as an actor. I'm like, Sean, why are you calling me for $20? I'm like, because you have, in order for this show to work, it has to be self-sustaining. You can never expect that somebody else is going to. You should never expect that just because you like your thing, that it's actually a good thing in the eyes of the marketplace or the audience. It's a great proving ground for that. And the way you, but now, Vox Populi will only continue if, when we get to the end of the year, we find some way to be able to pay for the next year. So I don't know if we'll do another Kickstarter campaign or if we'll sell advertising or whatever we'll do, but, sweat equity, call everybody, email everybody, have your people preloaded before you launch your campaign. Because when you start that campaign, you want it to come out of the box hot. I can go on with that for hours, because we just did another one, another just successful, we were trying to raise $75,000, we raised $108,000 for a Civil War documentary called The Sultana. So we're very, very, very proud of that. And then the last one, this is a really good one to end on, is the underdog one. What is it about the underdog? Patton, George C. Scott in Patton says, America loves a winner. And I think all of us, no matter who you are, no matter how wealthy you are, I mean, if you're Bill Gates, your problem is you can't figure out how to get those billions to really fix the AIDS problem. There's always something that's in your way. It doesn't matter who you are. If you're trying to work your way out of poverty, whatever, there's always something. And I think, for me, because I'm short, I didn't have as much athletic ability when I was on my baseball team, so I kind of was like Rudy a little bit. I was always working extra hard to prove myself. And I think a childhood of that and a life of that sort of made me internalize the sense of mission that comes with being an underdog. So, and in a way, everybody's an underdog. Even Kershaw, who just threw a no-hitter for the Dodgers, he's a 3-time Cy Young Award winner, but he'd never thrown a no-hitter. So all this, no matter who you are, there's something. There's that great phrase: your reach should exceed your grasp. You should always be questing for something a little bit more. And I've always said, like, if I put a worm here, right, and a little dirt patch there, and you knew that all that worm wanted to do was get to that dirt patch, and we started watching it, maybe we'd think it's funny, maybe we'd laugh, but on some level, you'd be rooting for the worm. So everyone has a story that is meaningful. Everyone has a story that's valid. You know, I meet people and they're like, my life story would be a great movie, and it would. Everybody's life story would be a great movie, if you look at it the right way. So, rooting for each other is one of the things that has allowed civilization to endure some of the plagues and Holocaust and all these things. When we can root for people, it means that something inside of us is awake and alive and prepared to do the right thing. And you're just sitting watching a movie. When that thing touches you, when people sit and watch Rudy, and when he, you know, those guys put down the vests, the shirts on the coach's desk, or when he finally gets into that game, you're like, you know, it touches us. I've had 8 million people tell me that their dad cried and he never cried at anything before. And it's because finally a story, in that guy's case, but there's, you know, a good story that gets through that, all those layers of armor that we put on ourselves to protect ourselves from all the bad things in the world, judgment from other people, from mediocrity and calamity. We arm ourselves. And so an underdog knows how to fight through that. And when we recognize that, we're fighting through it with them. And I love that about movies. And I'll just say one more thing. We're here at this autograph. To me, it's an autograph convention. For people, it's a lot of things. But this is my little pitch for autographs. I was doing an acting session with my middle school daughter's class, and I realized when I was talking to them, they were sort of sophisticated. And I said, okay, raise your hand if you've ever gotten an autograph. Every single kid in all 6 classes. Thousands of kids. Not one kid had not gotten an autograph. And I was like, what? Why do we do that? And the kids had great answers. One was like, well, it's for the memory. And the other one was like, so you can meet him. Almost as though it's an opportunity, it's an excuse to meet him. But basically, in response to some kid who I wrote an autograph for, and it was not legible in terms of the alphabet. You can actually read the letters of the name. I'm like, well, this isn't a legal document. This is like a fingerprint. This is like just leaving a bit of yourself for someone else. So I've run full circle with the idea of autographs, but I'm proud to come to these shows, and I'm proud to sit at my table, and I'm proud to sign. Sometimes we go really fast, sometimes we go slow, but I honor each moment, and I hope that I get to shake your hand and see, or high five. I need to high five. Usually these lumberjacks come up and crush your bones with a handshake. So I'm like, high fives are better. But hopefully I'll get to see you on the floor, and have a great rest of your convention.
Hey, give it up for Sean Astin, guys.